So welcome everyone to today's video. This is going to be another video in the guitar theory series. And today is how to read guitar tablature, or guitar tabs for complete beginners. So if you've never read tabs before or are unsure about how to read tabs the way it is and the way it relates to the guitar, then that's what I'm going to explain to you today. The different ways that tabs are written out and the way it is on the guitar if you get confused about how it relates to the actual neck of the guitar. So let's get right into it. We're going to use this tablature right here, this whole piece, and we'll go through it step by step so you can see what exactly everything means and how it relates to the guitar. So this tablature that we have here, though this is the way it is always written when you use tablature, and this is the setup. So let's say this is you right here. And the way the tablature is, just very simply so you can see yourself, if you're holding your guitar, just like this, if you lay the guitar flat on your lap, just as it is, just let the guitar slide flat down, and you look down at your guitar, that is exactly like looking at this tablature up top, okay? So the guitar looks like this. So if you look at your guitar, just dropping it onto your lap, you can see these strings here are thicker strings, these top strings up here, right? And these are the thinner strings. So if you look at these lines up here on the tablature, this is going to be the thicker string, right? That's the big thick E string down here. And this is going to be the thin one. So just like when you look down at your guitar, that's exactly the way the tablature is, right? So if you ever have questions or it gets a little confusing in your mind, you're uncertain, just drop the guitar flat on your lap and then take the exact notes from the tablature as it is and look at it on the guitar so you can get a clear view if you ever have any questions about that. All right? So that's the first thing. Now let's get right into the actual notes on the guitar and how it relates to the tablature. So whenever you see a straight line up and down the tablature like this, that is a chord. If you see it written like this, that's not a chord. That's picking the notes one at a time, okay, when they're spaced out. So if they're straight up and down, then it's a chord and it would look like this. So we have 0 on the E string, that would be playing this 6th string open. I'll put a little dot on the above the nut here so you can see it. That would be, then we would play the 2 on the A string, so that would be here, right? And the 2 on the D string, 1 on the G string, and open 2nd and 1st string, so B and E string. This is an E chord. So this is exactly what an E chord looks like, right? If you play it with your fingers, if you bring the guitar back up against your body and your fingers are there, first finger on the 1st fret of the 3rd string, 2nd and 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th and 5th string. That's exactly what an E chord would look like. These two strings would be open. If you're playing this one, this would be playing each note one at a time. So you would play the open E string, the open 6th string, thickest string, which is right here. Then you would play the 2, 2nd fret on the 5th string, 2nd fret on the 4th string. Then you would play 1st fret on the 3rd string, open 2nd string, open 1st string. So just like that, write down these notes. You would play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This way, you would have all the fingers on and strum down it. That's the difference. Sometimes you may also see this written as a chord diagram form, which is a little bit different. That would look like this. So this is a chord diagram. We won't get into exactly how to read these. It's not very difficult, though. It's the same thing. So this 6th string is this one here, and then you go right down. I know it's a little confusing when everything's turned a different way, right? So you have to just get used to that and get your grounding with that, so you have the right view. But this would be the 5th string, which would be this string, right? So the 6th string, the 5th string. The 4th string would be here, which would be this one, which would also be this one. Third string would be G, third string, which would also be this string, second, 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 and first, 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 okay? So this is the way the diagrams look if you're ever using them, but this chord is the same as this chord, all right? Now moving on to techniques. If you're doing hammer-ons and pull-offs, which are these two notes right here, this one right here is hammering on from the first fret on the third string, right? The third string, to the third fret on the third string. So that would be hammering on your finger from this note here to this note here. This would be the first finger, the third fret would be the third finger. That's all that means. So the H means hammer on, the P means pull off. So it would be having your third finger here on the third fret of the third string, having your first finger on the first fret of the third string, and pulling off from the third fret to the first fret. That's this here. So this is a hammer on, this is a pull off. One thing that I haven't put here, but it depends if you're using the technique or not. It's a little advanced technique, so I don't put it here. But tapping on, so if you see a T instead of an H or a P, if you see a T after the note, that would mean that you're tapping it. And that's a technique that if you don't know what it is, we won't get into it here. It's a little advanced, but that's what that would designate. And the other one that I don't have here that you might see sometimes is a V, like this. And that's also after the note, it would say V. And that just means vibrato. It just means you're shaking the string back and forth a little bit to make it sound like it's going up and down. It's not bending the note, actually, it's just shaking it back and forth. So again, we won't go into the techniques here because I have videos on those, but just so you know what it means if you happen to see it. Now, next we have sliding up and sliding down. When the slant is leaning to the right, this is sliding up the fretboard. When the slant is leaning to the left, it's sliding down the fretboard. And you can always tell that because of the notes, right? Unless there's no note after it, which happens, you're just sliding down without going to another note, or up, not to another note. But if you're going to another note, then 3 obviously to 5 is going to be up the fretboard, and 5 to 3 is going to be down the fretboard. So that would be third string, so third fret on the second string, you would put your finger here on the second string and slide up to the fifth, okay? The sliding down here would be having your finger on the fifth fret and sliding down to the third fret, okay? Moving on to the bends. So these are the bends. Some sound effects for you there. On the third string of the fifth fret of the third string, this is indicating right here, we have our finger on the fifth fret of the third string, which is right here, and you're bending this string, means pushing it up, if you're not familiar, until it's the same as this note here, the sixth fret. See, the sixth fret on the third string. This one here, 5 bend to 7, is designating that you have your finger here again on the fifth fret of the third string, and you're bending this string up until it's the same as this. So you're bending up a whole step. And this one here is designating that you're bending the fifth fret, again, fifth fret on the third string, you're bending it up to the sixth, and then releasing it back down to the sixth. So you bend up, come back down. And you can do that to the seventh as well. It would just say 5 B 7 R. So it means bend and release. That's all. This is up, this is down. So that's it, guys, pretty much. If you have any questions, anything was unclear, let me know. Try to make it as clear as possible. No, I don't think there's anything I'm forgetting here. If you do remember something or realize something that I forgot to tell you, let me know and I'll clarify or make another video on it. And I hope that's been helpful. Until next time, take care, and let me know if you'd like to see any more theory or any videos on anything else that could help clarify for you. All right? Have a nice day.